Akkam jirtu barattoota nagaa keessanii viidiyoo kana keessatti waa'ee landform of Ethiopia the western highland kan jedhu irraa kaanee hanga northern central massiveetti kan jiraniidhaaf gaaffii 17 qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadheera. Kanaaf ana waliin qayyabachuudhaan isinis landform of Ethiopia irraa wantoota baruu qabdanii fi qormaanni akkamitti mata duree kana keessaa baha kan jedhu akka hubattaniidhaaf waan isin gargaaru ta'uu isaa asumarraan yeroon isiniif dhugoomsu. Viidiyoon kun namoota hedduu bira akka ga'uudhaaf immoo share, like, comment gochuu hin dagatinaa. Question number 1. Which of the following statements best describes the western highland of Ethiopia? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeraman keessaa western highland of Ethiopia kan sirriitti ibsu kam? A. It is the largest highland region of the country. B. It is located east of Rift Valley and the smallest region of Ethiopia. C. Are lowland areas covered by desert and semi-desert vegetation. D. They are flat plains with no significant rivers or streams. Good. Western highland stretches from Tigray in north to the Gamo and the Gova Islands in southwest. They are separated from southeastern highlands by Rift Valley and cover about 44% of Ethiopia's land area. B is wrong. Why? Western highlands are located west of the Rift Valley, not east, and they are the largest physiographic region. They are not smallest. C is also wrong. Why? Western highlands are mountainous and elevated, not lowland or desert. D is also not the answer. Why? Because Western highland is the main source of many rivers and streams, such as the tributaries of Blue Nile, not flat plains with rivers. So, A is the correct answer for question number 1. Question number 2. Why are the western highlands of Ethiopia considered significant? A. They are the source of large number of rivers and streams. B. They are the flattest part of Ethiopia with minimal elevation. C. They cover only a small fraction of Ethiopia and are sparsely inhabited. D. They are fully separated from Tigray and the Gamo Gofa by deserts. Excellent. Western highlands are the water tower of Ethiopia, being the origin of many rivers like that of Abai or Blue Nile and its tributaries. B is wrong because the western highlands are not flat. They are mountainous and elevated regions. C is also not the answer because the western highlands cover the largest area, about 44% of the country, not a small fraction, and they are densely inhabited due to fertile soils. D is wrong. The reason: Western highlands are not separated by deserts. Rather, they are linked north-south and divided from the southeastern highlands by the Rift Valley. As a result, A is the correct answer. Question number 3. Which of the following best explains the formation of Ethiopian landforms? Waa'ee uumama taa'umsa lafa Itoophiyaa ilaallatee sirrii kan ta'e kami? A. They are the results of only exogenic forces such as erosion and denudation. B. They are the result of only endogenic forces such as volcanic activity and tectonic uplift. C. They are shaped by the interaction of both endogenic, like that of volcanic activity, and exogenic, like that of denudation, peneplanation forces. D. They are formed entirely by wind deposition from surrounding deserts. The formation of Ethiopian landform is shaped by the interaction of both endogenic and exogenic forces. Question number 4. Why Ethiopia often referred to as the roof of East Africa? A. More than 50% of Ethiopia's landmass is below the sea level. B. It contains Mount Ras Dashen, the highest point in the Horn of Africa, and has vast highlands with large elevation. C. It lies entirely at sea level with flat plains. D. Its relief is dominated by deserts, dry lowlands only. Ethiopia has very high elevation. For example, Ras Dashen is found in northern Central Massif with 4,620 meters above mean sea level as the highest point, and more than 50% of land above 1,000 meters with 44% above 1,500 meters and 22% above 2,000 meters. This makes it the roof of East Africa. A is not the answer because only the Kobar Sink or Dalol Depression, which is known with 125 meters below the sea level, is the lowland. Majority of Ethiopia is highland, not lowland. Ethiopia is not flat at sea level, but mountainous. Again, Ethiopia is not lowland areas. While Ethiopia is lowland areas, its dominant feature is the extensive highland, not desert. So, B is the correct answer. Which physiographic region of Ethiopia is the largest, covering about 44% of the total land area? A. Western Highland. B. Rift Valley. C. Southeastern Highlands. D. Eastern Lowlands. Western Highland is the largest and covering about 44% of the total land area, this making them the largest physiographic division. So, A is the correct answer. B is not the answer because Rift Valley is a narrow depression, not the largest region. Southeastern Highlands are smaller and lies east of the Rift Valley, while the Eastern Lowlands cover less land area compared to the Highlands. Question number 6. Which major physiographic feature separates the Western Highlands from Southeastern Highland? A. Blue Nile. B. Rift Valley. C. Takaze River. D. Awash Basin. Rift Valley separates the two highlands of Ethiopia, Western Highland and Southeastern Highland. So, B is the correct answer. Rift Valley runs north to south and acts as a natural divider between the Western and Southeastern Highland. Blue Nile originates in the highlands but does not separate the regions. Takaze is a river within the highland, not a dividing feature. Awash Basin is also a drainage basin, not a physiographic barrier. Question number 7. The plateau of Tigray is bounded to the north by blank and to the south by blank. A. Takaze River in north, Merab River in south. B. Merab River in north, Takaze River in south. C. Abai River in north, River Valley in south. D. Awash River in north, Gash River in south. Tigray Plateau is bounded by north with Merab River and by Takaze River in south. B is the correct answer. Plaatoon Tigray kaabaan laga Marabiin kan daangeffamu yoo ta'u, kibbaan immoo laga Takkazeedhaan marfamaa jechuudha yookiin daangeffamaa jechuudha. So, the Merab River bounds the plateau of Tigray in north, while the Takaze River bounds in south. Takaze River and the Merab River, these are the two rivers, but are reversed. Waljala jijjiirameera een kanaaf deebiin ta'u. Abai and the Rift Valley are not the plateau of Tigray boundaries. Awash and the Gash are in different regions, not the Tigray plateau. Question number 8. Which statement about the geology of plateau of Tigray is correct? A. It is mainly composed of sandstones and limestones as the harsh cover has been eroded. B. It is mainly made of young volcanic rocks with thick fertile soils. C. It is dominated by alluvial deposits and swamp vegetation. D. It is formed entirely by granite and metamorphic rocks. Question number 9. Why have the soils of the plateau of Tigray become poor and thin? A. Due to young volcanic eruptions that burned the soil. B. because of heavy rainfall that reaches the soils every year. C. Due to severe erosion and a long period of human inhabitation. D. Because the soils are mainly formed by recent river deposits. The plateau of Tigray is composed largely of sandstone and limestone after basalt layers were eroded. B is but not the answer, because fertile volcanic soils dominate in the central highlands, not in Tigray plateau. C is not the answer, because the plateau is eroded and rocky, not swampy or alluvial. D is also not the answer, because granite and metamorphic rocks are present in parts of Ethiopia, but not the dominant geology of Tigray plateau. A is the correct answer for question number 8. Long habitation and severe erosion over time have stripped away fertile soils and leaving thin and poor soils in Tigray. A is not, because volcanic eruptions are not the reason for soil loss in Tigray plateau. Rainfall is not the main factor. Erosion and human pressure are more significant. D is not the answer, because river deposits are absent in the plateau's elevated region. C is the correct answer. Question number 10. Which of the following mountains are located in the plateau of Tigray? A. Mountain Chokke, Mountain Zukala, Mountain Ntoto. B. Mountain Sibet, Mountain Ambalagi, Mountain Asimba. C. Mount Rasdashen, Mount Abuna Yosef, Mount Guna. D. Mount Fantalle, Mount Ertalle, Mount Ayelu. The major mountains located in Tigray Plateau are Mount Sibet, Mount Ambalage, and Mount Asimba. B is the correct answer. Chokke, Zukala, and Intoto are located in central Ethiopia, not Tigray. Rasdashen, Abuna Yosef, and Guna are in central and northern highlands, not in Tigray plateaus. While Fantalle, Ertalle, and Ayelu are volcanic mountains in the Rift Valley and Afar Depression. Question number 11. The North Central Massif lies between which two major gorges? A. Abai Gorge and Takaze Gorge. B. Marab Gorge and Rift Valley Gorge. C. Awash Gorge and Abai Gorge. D. Omo Gorge and Wabe Gorge. Excellent. The North Central Massif is found between Abai Gorge in south and Takaze Gorge in north. The Marab and the Rift Valley are not the correct boundaries. Again, Awash Gorge is eastward, even not in North Central Massif. A is the correct answer. Question number 12. Which feature makes the North Central Massif one of the most rugged areas of Ethiopia? A. Flat plains with little elevation. B. Gorge and steep-sided valleys formed by the Abai and the Takaze rivers. C. Continuous volcanic plateaus without dissection. D. Large desert basins with sand dunes. The Abai and the Takaze rivers and their tributaries carved deep gorges and valleys, making this massive rugged and dissected. So, B is the correct answer. A, C, D are not the answer, because here the massive is not flat. As a result, A is not the answer. The massive is not undissected plateau, but it is highly eroded. D is not the answer. Why? Because the massive is not a desert area. Question number 13. The flat-topped mountains isolated by gorges in the North Central Massif is known as A. Large volcanic crater filled with water. B. Ambas. C. Fertile plains near the Rift Valley. D. Underground cave system. The flat-topped mountains, which is isolated by gorges in the North Central Massif, is known as Amba. B is the correct answer. Here, Ambas are isolated flat-topped mountains separated from each other by gorges in North Central Massif. A is not the answer because craters filled with water are called lakes, not ambas. Ambas are not plains. Ambas are not caves. Question number 14. Which massif is the most extended tableland and is comparatively less dissected in North Central Massif? A. Wallo Massif. B. Gojam Massif. C. Gondar Massif. D. Afar Massif. Gojam Massif is the most extended tableland and is comparatively less dissected. It is known for the production of crops like teff, pulses, oilseeds. So B is the correct answer. Here, the Gojam Massif is the largest and least dissected tableland, centered around Mountain Amedamit and Mountain Choke. Wallo is more dissected and Gondar is also highly rugged. Afar Massif is outside of the North Central Massif. So, as I have said, B is the correct answer. Question number 15. The river that separates the Gojam Massif from Shoa Plateau in the south is A. Awash River, B. Omo River, C. Abai River, D. Baro River. In south direction, the river that separates Gojam from Shoa Plateau is Abai. C is the correct answer. The Abai River curves a deep gorge that separating Gojam from Shoa Plateau. Awash flows eastwards into Afar Depression, so not the answer. Omo flows southward into Lake Turkana. As a result, B is also not the answer. Baro flows west into South Sudan. As a result, D is also not the answer. Question number 16. Which crop is the North Central Massif specially known for? A. Coffee, B. Inset, C. Teff, pulses, and oilseeds, D. Corn. The North Central Massif is well known with teff production, pulses, and oilseeds. Oomisha xaafii, oomisha midhaan dibataa fi oomisha midhaan zayitaadhaaf baay'ee beekamaadha. Central Massif kan jennu jechuudha. So C is the correct answer. Coffee grows in southwestern Ethiopia and inset is grown in southern highlands, while cotton is grown in lowland like Awash and Humara. Question number 17. Which of the following is correctly matched? A. Mount Rasdashan is found in Gojam Highland. B. Mount Lagadda is found in Samim Mountain. C. Mountain Analu is found in Wallo Highland. D. Mountain Tafaulazar is found in Eastern Lowlands. Mountain Lagadda is found in Samim Mountain in Gondar, which are part of the Gondar Highlands in North Central Massif. So B is the correct answer. Why A, C, D are not the answer? Because Mountain Rasdashan is also found in Samin Mountains, not in Gojam. Mountain Analu is found in Samin Mountain, Wallo border, not strictly Wallo Highland. Mountain Tafaulazar is part of North Central Massif, not Eastern Lowlands. These are all about today's lesson. On the coming lesson, again, I come back with part 2 of landform of Ethiopia. Kutaa lammaffaa gaaffilee biroo waliin hanga wal agarrutti nagaannaa tura. Chaanaalii keessan Geolesson 17 Tube waan daawwattaniif galatooma. Geolesson 17 Tube chaanaalachuun sila gobanyaachuu አመሰግናለሁ. Geolesson 17 Tube chaanaalii milkoomina egeree dhalootaaf dhimmu.